So recently I've been down bad and went on a porn binge and a social media binge using all the websites that I told myself that I wouldn't use, and I feel bad for it and I feel disconnected from the present moment. Something that I've been valuing recently is living in the present moment and actually engaging with my surroundings, engaging with my environment, because that's something I feel as though I don't do enough of. And you know, these social media companies, they profit off of pulling people away from the present moment. So if more people were in the present moment, then they wouldn't be able to market off of that. You can't market off of the present moment because then it just wouldn't be real. And you know, I've been thinking about like all of these companies and just like the way people are online, and most people who've criticised me online and outside of like the self-improvement area were losers and had no sense of identity. They were just looking to outside systems such as politics to define their identities for them, and they're looking to outside sources, you know, such as MBTI tests and whatnot, to define their identities for them. They didn't know who they really were, had no frame, no sense of purpose or direction in their lives. And I don't have a sense of purpose or direction either. I was journaling recently, and you know, it's journaling that brought attention to all of this, because I've been journaling about a lot of different things, about like the body that I want, the career that I want, journaling about some of the habits that I want to implement. And then, you know, it just occurred to me about the fact that how great I feel after like everything that I've done online, and taking a step back this morning just to journal. And I wanted to really share my gratitude for that. When most people, they're not doing the same things as I am. Most people, even though I'm in like the very beginning, early stages of the self-improvement struggle, like I haven't got the body or anything yet, so it's harder for me to convince other people my perspective. You know, I can share my perspective, but it's kind of like you take it or leave it, whereas the objective truth is the people, or what is considered to be the objective truth is the people at the top, who would probably say like similar things to me. Yeah, I've been considering about the narcissism and arrogance, and I've been watching all about how you know, there's been tasks that have shown, like there's a YouTuber called Aperture, and he made a video about how on TikTok there's been tests about like how it induces psychoses with tics, and video that sort of induced these tics, and it goes well with like mental health disorders. And people are looking now these days, there's a type of person who looks to the mental health disorders that they could potentially have, that other people have online, and they look into these things to give themselves a sense of identity and purpose. And I was one of those people a few years ago, and I wasn't on TikTok, but I was on Facebook, I was on Twitter, and I sometimes used Instagram, but I didn't use Instagram that much because I didn't really see any purpose in it, you know. It gave me more of an instant boost of gratification, and they probably like optimize these things towards like the individual person. Yeah, but I got more of a hit from just reading posts and read post after post after post after post, and started associating with the people who were very negative about themselves and their self-image, and my self-image was affected. I was journaling about it this morning, like, why do I hate myself? Why is my self-esteem so low? Because that's such a massive problem of mine, a reoccurring problem, is I've suffered from low self-esteem, I've suffered from anxiety, and I've suffered from depression. And not like the actual, well, kind of like the actual illnesses, but mostly it's, you know, it's just how you feel, how your general state, your well-being is. That's how you can measure anxiety and depression. Like, how easy is it for you to start new habits? Well, it's not easy for me, because most of the time I'm just scrolling social media, looking at these posts, and they've all been optimized down to the last detail. And even though I want to go and start my own business in this area, you know, I think that it's the individual responsibility of each person's individual responsibility to cater to their own well-being, and to cater to their ability to stay in the present moment. Like, I can only give advice, but, you know, I'm not a hypocrite. And yeah, I've been thinking about westernized women as well, and I don't really wish to well, I shouldn't give this disclaimer that, oh, I don't really wish to offend people, but you know, I don't feel secure in the state that I am now. I don't feel secure in the country I am now. And yeah, it's social media, and I've been watching videos by Jordan Peterson on how women who are like agrarious, I think that's like the big 5 traits: aggrariousness and sociability. If they're high in both of them, then that could spell big trouble. You know, that could, because potentially, like, with social media, it brings out the worst of it. It can make them sort of narcissistic, and I've seen this a lot in the websites I've been going on in my down bad period. I've noticed people who are like women who are high in like aggrariousness and extroversion, and they just posting about like how great they are, and then accusing me of being like a 35-year-old loser. Yeah, so that's a thing. And I've noticed this a lot, like women who are probably like addicted to social media and whatnot, and I've seen women glare through the window of my house. I've seen women do that, and you know, in the West, it's just totally acceptable for a middle-aged woman with kids to just glare through the window of your house, and it's like even encouraged. Like, I bet a friend's like, "Oh, you go, girl," and it's just totally stupid, because it's been more than one person who's done this. And I just wanted to speak out. I mean, maybe I'm seeking attention here. Maybe I'm just over-exaggerating, and they'd have you believe that, but you know, the only thing I can do really is just keep improving on myself, because that's like a deterrent against these sorts of things from happening. Like, I've realised the importance now. I've only just realised the importance of having a masculine body, despite reading the Red Pill for years, not being able to act on any of the information I gained. But I've only just realised now that I can actually get into places if I improve my physique. And it's something I really want to work upon. I really want to build my physique, and I I really want to motivate other people who are in like my stage to also consider the possibilities of having a 10 out of 10 body, because it insulates against all of this. I've realised that the alternative to social media, the best alternative for me would be to just build my body, to just work on myself and build my body up and become more masculine. That's the only way I can see in the long term. Yes, the only way I can see in the long term for me to just entirely quit social media, because it's an adequate enough replacement. It gets me into the social game, the dating game, and you do need to do this for dating, unfortunately, because dating's like the biggest motivator for most men. So I'm definitely doing it for dating, even though it's going to be with people in the West at first, and oh god, I just can't stand people in the West. I mean, it's not everyone, because the people who you have a problem with, because the people who I've had a problem with, they're on the phones all the time probably, and it just impacts the views and the beliefs. Like, if you're a woman, it makes you more masculine. If you're a man, it makes you more feminine. And I can say this from experience, because in the past I've been addicted to Instagram, Twitter and whatnot. Well, not Instagram, but associated with these people who dye their hair different colours each week, and they have like multiple mental health problems, apparently. And it's marginalising them, you know, it's marginalising and categorising them to speak out about, I mean, you might not be depressed, you might just be lazy, you might not have like multiple personalities, you might just like be seeking to look different. I'm sorry about that. That was shouting me. But yeah, so working on yourself, and it just blocks you against these negative thoughts and beliefs, and taking on other people's negative thoughts and beliefs, because we feel as though we've got to save these people, especially if you're like in my circumstance. Like, they'd go to you asking for advice for absolutely nothing that they've got wrong with them. Like, they've got nothing wrong with them, and they go asking you for advice. And yeah, my dream country would probably be Dubai or Thailand. I am very uncomfortable living here. I do want to work for myself, and I realise I've got to pay off some debts first in this country before I go abroad. I enrolled in this stupid engineering course I've spoken about before, and I've got 2 years of debt to pay off with this, because I dropped out to study, to learn about like UX design. So I'm going to pay this off, and then, you know, I can do freelance work, create my own coaching business, and get out of here. I don't know why I'm telling people my plans, but yeah. Yeah, and I suggest that you have a plan to get out of the country as well, because the hard times are coming because of all of this, because men becoming more feminine, women becoming more masculine. The hard times have already hit, you know. And you need to do what you can, you know, because it's the responsibility of other people to cater to their own well-being. So you do what you can, really. Do what you can. Gain the resources that you need and get out of this country.